Welcome to the webinar on this beautiful sunny Seattle morning. Yes, it's spring and spring's here. Um, so just so that everybody knows, it's a Zoom webinar and not a Zoom meeting. So all the attendees will be on mute. If anyone wants to chat, please enter your text in chat, or also at the Q&A time, enter your questions in the question answer chat box. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So let's begin today's webinar. It's centered on improving employee engagement using suitable frameworks. So what we're going to present is some of our experiences with our tools, our own tools, and I'll go into agenda in a second. So I'm going to close my video, just leave the audio on so I can see my own screen also. Bear with me. Excellent. So on your right-hand side, as you see, we have three speakers today. I'm Seema Chaudhary. I head our partnerships and strategic alliances. I'm specifically hosting this webinar as I'm very passionate about our software products, as these products that I'm going to present today empower the non-technical people like me. And I'll be demoing two of our latest collaboration tools, namely Buddy and Plato. So stay tuned. Our second speaker, as you see here, the smiling face in the middle on the right-hand side is Neville Postwala. Neville is Associate VP with us. He manages our talent management team. Our Harbinger base of employees is about 700, and they're all spread out in 4 different offices in India, which of everybody today is working from home. So Neville will share his insights and stories as an HR practitioner in the webinar today. And then we have Dave Dutt. Dave has 30 years experience in enterprise practice. And he basically takes care of IT needs, IT challenges, and his passion is to apply the latest technologies in solving enterprise problems and challenges. On our left here, on the left side of the screen, that's our agenda. We will have 2 polls. I'm going to present Buddy and Plato. These are our employee engagement tools. And we will also chat with Neville and Dave. And towards the end, we will have a Q&A. Sounds like a good agenda? So moving into our next slide. Yes. Yes, this makes us think, what's going on in the industry? Can I work in pajamas? Yes, why not? Will that make me productive? Maybe, maybe not. Is this employee engaged? Looking at the picture, maybe we wonder. And what is different today from the last year? What's going to be new normal? Lots of questions on everybody's mind. Do you think HR practitioners would move quickly into making the changes for the new normal? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they need some help. So there could be endless questions just by looking at this picture. So before we dive deep into our today's discussions, I just want to see where we are. And again, we're not going to be able to answer to every question that comes to our mind, but I'm pretty sure, I assure you that at the end of the webinar today, you will be at least a little bit closer to your employee engagement, looking at the options that we present you today. So let's take a pulse of our audience. And what I'm going to do is launch a poll really quick. So bear with me and please vote into the poll. The poll is about your preferred way, and I'll read the poll once I launch it. 1 second. The poll started, and it is, what is your preferred way to engage with employees? I would like some participation in the poll. Great. I think people are voting in. Looks good. I'll end the poll in about 2 seconds. Oh, maybe there are still people are polling in, so I'm going to just wait for another few seconds. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll share results with you. Looks like a lot of people voted combination, and some still are looking like they mostly do it online. Some are looking new online ways for employee engagement. So good. I think the results look good. What I'm going to do right now is go into our next slide. And again, I think the combination would have been my, I think, vote also. At Harbinger, we do combination of ways into engaging with our employees. So moving on to what I'm going to show you is the tool, which everybody is waiting for. Here it is, chatbot, Harbinger Buddy. So chatbot, Harbinger Buddy is our employee service chatbot, like you see on the screen. I'm going to go into the product soon, but this is how it takes place. This is how much it takes space on your Outlook or any of the screen. This little icon here says Harbinger Buddy is all is needed. That's all is needed in your Outlook. And then the messages, the box here pops up and has many things. So let's go into the product very quickly. I am going to open my Outlook for that reason. And Isha, would you mind? And I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce Isha is our moderator for this webinar too. So I'm going to have her tell me if everybody can see the screen. And is everything okay so far on audio also?
Yes, Seema, I can see the buddy here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So as you see, this is my Outlook. On the right-hand side on the screen, this is Harbinger Buddy. And our HR and talent management has worked so well with this that they have categorized based on our needs of our employees, these categories that are green bands. So there is attendance, there is conference room booking, there is, if you see finance, there is find someone, means find someone in the company, not on Google. My attendance, which also, tells an employee how much vacation they have or how much is available, and they can apply through here. So let me go into this chatbot, and I'm going to ask the most common question that's being asked today is, do we have work from home policy? Let's see if Buddy answers. And remember, this is not like your Google search. This is internal. This is meant for our employees. So great. Look at the message here. So it says visit work from home policy. That means we have it. And it says go read more on JAM. JAM is our internal system. So if I click on this visit from home policy, what it does is it takes me to another link, and this screen that you see is our success factors login gateway, where I log in into this gateway, and that's our HRIS system. So I'll go back to Buddy. Just wanted to show you how Buddy takes me wherever I want to take, wherever there's information in the system. Another common question that's being asked lately is, are my parents, do my parents get coverage in a group Mediclaim due to COVID expenses? So let's see if I can type in some words of my query. Don't have to type in the whole sentence. Group Mediclaim, and the important word is COVID here, right? So I'm hoping that everybody's able to see the bottom of the screen here. I know it's pretty small, and I could always stretch the Buddy on this side, and I'll do that. Give me just a minute. So what it's saying is visit, yes, it is covered, visit benefit me. So if I click on this link, what it'll do is, I think, yes, great. It took me to a third-party portal where a company provides medical inform. So I'm going to close this for a little bit and then go back to my buddy. So I understand that the buddy is on the right-hand side corner. I can also stretch it. Just didn't want to, it looks kind of weird when it's stretched like that because my Outlook is right here, right? And I need my Outlook to work in the emails. So I like when buddy is kind of right here, which works better. So if I want to go back to the main option that buddy had, all I have to do is just type in hi and it'll go back to the main menu. There's another advantage to this buddy service bar is for new join people. So say for example somebody's joined and that's me. I've joined a company and it's a large company. I don't know where my boss sits. I kind of know his name, first name, and I've heard his last name. But again, I want to see how to book a conference room to meet with him and meet with him first time. So what a new employee could do is enter the name of the person, and I'm only entering first name as I remember his first name, and I think I'll get to the last name. So when it says that buddy is saying, what would you like to know? Get extension or public profile. So remember, this public profile doesn't mean a public profile on Google. It's the profile that's available, information that's publicly available within the company. So I'm actually, maybe I will say public profile because I don't know what that is being a new employee. Let's see what it comes with. Okay. What it did was it gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 Umesh from our company. Fortunately, I know my boss is Umesh Kanade. So I'm going to see if, okay, great. So my boss's information came in here. All I wanted to see is where is he located. So location is GP, IND is India. So he is located in this office. And later on, what I'm going to do is go to my conference booking and book a room with room for a meeting with him. So this is where the information is showed up. Where did this come from? Again, the backend of Harbinger Buddy is connected, integrated with our HRIS system. For in our case, it's success factors, and that's where our employee information is. So it basically quickly captures the information and presents it. So that's about Buddy. I think I'm hoping that everybody got the hang of Buddy. And I'm going to move on to a little bit more on Buddy, but let's see where we are. So moving on to the next part, which highlights Buddy. I showed you how to use Buddy. So what is special about Buddy? First of all, it's a supervised bot. What that means is this bot is made intelligent by feeding in question answers, feeding in lots of variations of questions, and this job is done by our HR and talent management. So this Buddy, though it uses NLP in the backend, it's not 100% AI, artificial intelligence and NLP, but it's also supported or enhanced by our HR and talent management team. This Buddy, the workflow that you saw, it could be very easy one-step workflow or a couple of steps deeper down workflows. When I said, like I wanted to book a conference room, yes, I gave timing. I can give time and day. And what it does is, Buddy can also go ahead and book that conference room for me. So the action's also completed. Like I showed how it took me to a third-party portal, such as either payroll or benefits portal, but it also integrates with the HRIS system and at the same time also can link to the third-party portals that your HR systems are opting in for. So those are some of the highlights. Moving on to the next, I'm going to do very quick QA in a sense, like a short QA about Buddy. What are some of the questions that we have seen coming up? And there will be a longer QA at the end. So I'm going to go into a couple of questions I've listed here. Sometimes people wonder, where are these questions, on the right-hand side, as you see, where are they coming from? and how are they created? I just mentioned quickly. So the Q&A maker is based on artificial intelligence and NLP. And we also use Azure service for that in the backend. And the QA maker is very easy to use, made easy to use for HR because it's Excel based. So what HR does is all the unanswered questions in the bot, they go through those, they provide the correct answers, accurate answers, and make variations of those questions as well as answers and put them back into the system. So that's how Buddy gets trained. So QA maker is kept pretty easy, low key, I would say, easy to actually feed into by HR or talent management. So some people ask us, how this is your buddy, how about our buddy, our own buddy? That's called branding. So yes, absolutely. If a company wants to brand their own buddy, you can name your own buddy to whoever you want to name. It may be Bob or something like that, or any other name. And the look and feel can be changed, the logo can be changed. Uh, you can have your own buddy in your system, definitely. Is there a trial available? Absolutely. You can use Harbinger Buddy for 2 weeks, and please write to us for that. So it's a full-featured buddy that you can try yourself. So moving on to our next, and I hope I've covered most of the buddy questions here, but there will be some more that we can answer later on. So that brings us to my break, and we can bring Neville in. Neville, I hope you're able to connect. We had some little difficulty early on, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear Neville. And what Neville is going to share with is some of his experiences. Neville, Neville, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can, Seema. Can you hear me?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, I can hear you. And on 19th of March, Neville, I understood that all our 4 offices had to be closed due to pandemic. And what were some of the challenges you and your team faced that time? Also, I'm going to add my second question here, so I don't want to interrupt you while you talk. Do you think we're using the right tools in HR? Any insights will be very helpful, Neville.
Yeah, thank you, Seema. So the first challenge I would see is, while many companies had work from home already as an existing policy, it was not on the scale of what we're seeing now. So earlier we would have around 10-20% of people working from home. But now with 100% people working from home, this has thrown up a few challenges for the enabling functions. So all the enabling functions, whether it be IT, administration, HR, finance, all of these need to work with a high degree of collaboration to make sure that the employee is successful working from home and there's no productivity loss and the customer remains to be happy and satisfied. Another challenge is in the mindset of the managers, because as managers, we were not used to having teams work from home all the time. So with teams not in the line of sight, at times this can be challenging situations. Let me give you some examples. For example, why did he not pick up my call? Or why isn't she responding to my message on Teams? So these situations can build a little bit of anxiety. So managers need to build higher levels of trust in their team. And on the other hand, individuals need to work better and have better etiquettes for working from home. Now coming to your other question, I've seen that there is a change in employee engagement, and this moved from a high touch to a low touch process. Let me explain. So traditionally, HR members have always preferred face-to-face meetings so that we can see the person and find out how things are going and solve their problems. But now and in the future, I feel we'll see a high reduction in this kind of activity. I'm a part of various HR forums, and in those HR forums, it's quite evident that HR people are using a blend of face-to-face and tools to connect with employees. So tools, whether it be Microsoft Teams or Slack or Zoom, all these are being used very, very effectively to connect virtually with the employees and teams. And the same thing with Harbinger. We've had no exception. We've been doing this as well. But now, since everybody is working from home, the usage has really increased tremendously. But if you ask me, in my opinion, just plain standalone collaboration tools will not be enough for a seamless experience for employees. Because in the future, I think that we'll see collaboration tools being integrated with other HR apps, apps like onboarding tools or performance management tools or learning management platforms. Let me give you a couple of examples. Just suppose I'm working on Microsoft Teams or I'm working on Zoom. While working, there will be various plugins and add-ins that will enable me to give performance feedback or say suggest learning needs to somebody. Or suddenly a chatbot may pop up and start interacting with the employee. And all this happens, mind you, when you're working on Zoom or Teams. And whatever inputs I'm giving, for these activities will flow back into the performance management system or the learning management system. You saw chatbots. They're very, very easy to use, very, very simple to build also. Basic, chat transactions can be done by the chatbot. We saw Harbinger Buddy. Let me give you some numbers about Harbinger Buddy, about its usage in Harbinger. Since we launched it about 8 months ago, we've received around 5,000 queries and transactions asked to Buddy now. For a company of around 700 people, I would think that's quite a good number. And on an average, for FAQs, so take away the transactions, only for FAQs, we have around 30 FAQ questions being asked every day. 30 FAQ questions being asked every day. So if I actually convert that into hours, it translates to a saving of around 10 to 11 hours per month for answering these questions. So think about it. The HR person now has 10 to 11 hours per month extra to focus on more productive, activities. The voice of the employee is the next one I want to talk about, where remote employees want to be heard and annual surveys just don't do the job. So we have pulse check-ins that are taking over rapidly, and chatbots like Harbinger Buddy can also be used and configured to launch surveys at multiple times in the employee's life cycle. It could be your first day of joining, after the first week, after you change a project, before your salary increment and after salary increment, to see how you're feeling. And all these reports that get generated by the system can get dissected and can give you valuable insights and suggestions. Last month during the lockdown, we ran a battery of pulse checks to find how employees were doing, and we had a couple of interesting insights. Let me share 2-3 with you. What did people love the most about working from home? So 2 out of 3 people felt that they loved saving time traveling back to office and back home. So saving time while traveling. What did they not like? Around half the people missed their teammates when they were working from home. So that's what they didn't like. But interestingly, 100%, almost 100% of people felt that while they were working from home, the productivity of their team was the same, if not higher, than working from office, which is really great. So the customer doesn't, the customer engagement happens, customer satisfaction happens, productivity happens. But on the flip side, 1 out of every 5 persons or 20% of people felt that their fitness levels had decreased while they were working from home. So obviously, because of the lockdown, people can't go to the gym, they can't go for a jog, whatever. So hopefully, once the lockdown is lifted, physical fitness levels will start to improve of employees. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you in this limited time. Thank you.
And I think you just said it about the performance, which gives me a segue to our next product. If I may open that quickly, I think that will, thank you, Neville. I think you just said it. I'm going to move on to the next product that we have here and quickly go over this. So
this is Isha here. May I just interrupt? We might need to expedite the session a little bit in view of the time.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Thanks, Isha. So here is our another product that we have launched last year. It's employee engagement platform called Plato. And what I'm going to do is, instead of now giving my talk, I'm just going to go in Plato really quick and show what Plato looks like. So as you see it on the screen, here is Plato. I'm a learner here today. What Plato does is basically it delivers small chunks of knowledge in the flow of work. This is not a learning management system. So for example, I'll show you one little nugget, as we call it. And within nugget, there are learning bytes. So I'm clicking on a byte. What this is about any amount, like about maybe 3 to 10 slides that you can put your information in. there is text, there is images that you can add, there is video you can add. And also the nice thing about it is there is a quiz with gamification in it. So I'm quickly going to go through, I'm quickly going to go through this quiz. So let's see if I can add and go through, say, it's asking me an appropriate way to introduce myself. Myself, Vinit, my name is Saira. I think my name is Saira is a better answer. I'm going to submit it and I get to hit the knife. So you get an idea of what this is about. This is about gamification and keeping your learner or employee engaged. So I get to knife again, and there it is. There is a final feedback from the learner, and if you like it, so there is a feedback loop from the learner on your nugget or learning bite. How did they do it? And remember, this is my learner side of it. When we actually designed this for another company, they also get the admin support, which is the authoring part of it. And we won't get into that today, but this also is available as a trial from our company. Let's quickly go to my slides and quick overview of what is Plato. Again, it reinforces learning, as you saw, because the learning comes in nuggets, smaller pieces, micro learning. It's engaging, and it doesn't have to be like a learning for certification. Plato integrates well with any learning management system, HRIS or MOOCs, and it also connects with the performance goals of the LMS. So what it does, it reads the performance goals and feeds the nuggets into employees or learners, learning dashboard, and keeps a track of that. So this is bites of learning without a huge investment in a learning management system. Easy to use, very light on learner's side as well as the authoring side. Few quick questions on this. Yes, it has mobile support, as you see on the right-hand screen here. It looks really nice, attractive, mobile support. It's a subscription-based model. Plato is a subscription-based model. And branding is, yes, we can build your own Plato in your company, for your company, that can be hosted in your environment. Moving on to poll 2, I'm going to be very quick in poll 2. Just let's get a pulse of how everybody feels about employee engagement. And here is the poll. I'm going to launch the poll quickly. It's what are the key drivers of your employee engagement? Maybe take 20 seconds, not too much. If I can see some polls coming in. Excellent. Excellent. I think I see a lot of saying all of the above and some more. So I'll end the poll. Few in leadership, performance, very good. And here are some other results. Many are saying there are many ways, many drivers for your employee engagement. I think that's excellent. Moving on to our next, and I'm going to introduce Dave here. Dave, I understand that we are kind of short on time, but I think any highlights that you can share with us about is microlearning and chatbots, just the way you saw microlearning is our Plato platform and chatbot is our buddy. Similar tools, are they about to become mainstream and a must-have? And even if you can share some insights on how some people or some enterprises have used bots, that will be great. We have like about maybe 2 minutes. Dave, if you can share your thoughts.
Certainly.
Thank you for coming on video.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so Seema, I'll answer that question in 2 or 3 steps, if I may. First of all, you asked if these are becoming mainstream technologies. I would say definitely yes. I mean, bots are being used by many organizations in their external as well as internal channels, where they are used to engage with employees for query resolution, etc. Micro-learning platforms also becoming very popular because micro-learning is the need of the hour. People want to learn on the go. They're getting very busy. They want to learn in small chunks at a place and time of their choice, etc. So micro-learning platforms like Plato are also being used very extensively in conjunction with the learning system. However, in our case here, and we are looking at it from the employee engagement perspective. So let me put this in a perspective here. What's the problem we are talking about? There is a very well-known rule called 73855 rule by Professor Albert Mehrabian from UCLA. It's pretty well-known, people must be knowing about it, which says that when people are interacting, they're conversing with each other in a room, out of the total perception that they have, a whopping 55% of the perception happens through visual clues. An additional 38% happens through voice intonation and the sounds. And only a mere 7% happens through the words used or the text used over there. Now, in this context, we all can imagine that with this sudden remote working, everybody working from home and from a different location, even after enabling video conferencing to some extent, how much will be the disruption or the reduction in the perception that you are having through conversations and through your interactions? And that is what is the disruption in engagement. When people go out, engagement is disrupted in multiple ways, in multiple dimensions. It is important how orgs are seeing that disruption and how they are attempting to address multiple dimensions of this employee engagement disruption using the tools. We are in conversations with multiple organizations, and just for example, in case of Plato, we are in conversation with one of the hospital chains in USA who are trying to put a framework in place to engage with their medical staff, which is on field. There are doctors on the field trying to counter this COVID-19 pandemic, and they need to be fed up-to-date information on the fly as they come on a daily basis, probably more frequently. And it should be available to the doctors and the medical staff at a time and place of their choice. They should have some means of reinforcing that knowledge through quizzes, feel confident, have some fun interaction through games. And the org needs to know how much they have learned. So based on that extent of learning, they can take corrective action. They are trying to use Plato as a nugget delivery, micro nugget delivery platform for employee engagement. When you talk about bots are typically used where they are, they are trained to understand natural language and understand what the human is asking and then kind of answer the queries, which is a big part of employee engagement. But we are having conversations saying, can it do more? Can we, based on these queries, do sentiment analysis, for example, and figure out where the employee is coming from, or what is missing in engagement in a particular group, in a particular division, or with a particular employee? And by learning that, can the buddy provide specific answers, or can it recommend answers? Can it send an email to the manager saying, hey, your employee is getting concerned, please call him, etc. That will further strengthen the engagement. So bottom line, these are definitely being mainstream, but interesting to see that businesses, organizations are trying to see how they can be leveraged for employee engagement, probably beyond the original reason why these frameworks came into place.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Over to you, Seema.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you very much. I think we are very close to the end. What I'm going to do is bring on our question answer session. And what we're going to do is, since we rushed a little bit through our Plato, I think Plato product, how about if we have Plato, if we take Plato questions at the beginning and then have other questions answered. We have about 5 minutes, I think, 5 to maybe 10 minutes for question answers. And then the rest of the questions anybody has, please feel free to write to us. And here I am, back into video mode. Isha, do you want to read any questions if you can, maybe? Maybe there is something in the Q&A box, let me see. Okay. Great question. I have a great question here. Says, like success factors, the way that we have it in Harbinger, It says, can Buddy be integrated with other HRIS like Altipro, Oracle, or other HCMs? Excellent question. Absolutely. I think everybody, large enterprises have many HRISs and HCMs in the company. So yes, Buddy can be integrated with any HRIS as long as there are open APIs available for the HRIS or the HCM. And definitely it can be integrated. And also Buddy has a very lightweight sort of connection. If the Excel, basically it can read Excel format in the backend. And it's not a very like a huge sort of a customization that is required if there are open APIs for connection. But we can definitely look at it. Hope I answered the question.
Seema, there's another question which asks, is Plato a replacement of an LMS?
Sorry, say that again.
Is Plato replacement of a LMS?
Okay, excellent. Oh, that's a Plato question. Very good. So Plato is not a replacement of an LMS. Rather, it complements LMS, or I would say it strengthens an LMS objective. So LMS has a ton of content, really heavy on content, heavy on tracking, heavy on compliance. So for example, that's not what Plato is. Plato is pretty lightweight. It's designed for modern day learner. It's designed for modern day workforce. And what that means is it strengthens, it's more flexible for an HR department to add nuggets of learning in small chunks, whereas an LMS is a monster basically. Also, the way sometimes people can use Plato is you have something going on in an LMS, like a huge certification. Those things can be actually broken down and made into as a learning nuggets into Plato, and made it more accessible to people, to learn. So that's also there. Also, Plato gives a lot of flexibility to add knowledge nuggets. For example, something about your company values. So that's a great use for Plato. So Plato doesn't have to be very specific, large certification kind of courses. And also the most important part is Plato comes as a subscription, so you don't invest a huge amount, just like in an LMS. So there is another question. It says,
other questions,
sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think I was just directing you to the Q&A panel.
There's a nice question over here. It's about Buddy. Can the employee service bot Buddy be transformed into a sales service bot, support chatbot flavor? So any other application of Buddy? It's a great question and very innovatively asked question, because yes, Buddy can be transformed into a sales chatbot. It depends what use you have for that, and we can customize a Buddy based on the need of the organization. Definitely, it requires some customization, but that can be done. I think someone's asking, is Plato accessible on mobile phones? Yes, there was one screenshot in my slides which has a mobile, user interface, and Plato is absolutely great in accessing on a cell phone. Perfect use for Plato. Let me see if any questions are open here. Oh, okay. There's a question. Says, do you build custom employee engagement applications? Absolutely, we do build custom employee engagement applications, and what that means is we also can white label any of these applications into your system. Definitely. I think most questions are answered here. Let me look at the time. Isha, how are we doing on time?
We've
Maybe
exceeded
another
our
minute.
scheduled time. Yeah, I think what we can do, Seema, is
Mm-hmm.
perhaps leave it open for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
And if people have any questions, we can revert to them via email.
Okay, definitely. So let me go back to our thank you screen. So which has our email address. Sounds very good, Isha. So I will be, we'll see if there are any questions. Otherwise, we'll actually close the webinar. And thank you very much, everybody. Just like you see on the screen, please write to me for a free trial of Buddy or Plato. We'll be happy to provide you guidance and training on those. And thank you everybody for attending with your questions and with your patience for going through, some different screens a couple of times. Thank you, Neville. Thank you, Devdat. And thank you, Isha, for organizing this webinar. We hope to come back and share more on Plato and Buddy, if we can, in a few weeks or so.
Thank you, Seema, and thanks everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.